Hello. The question we would like to answer in this session is, what do women need in marriage? What do women need in marriage? Have you ever asked yourself if you are the right kind of person that your wife thinks is best even after you married? Have you ever gone to ask your wife if you're the kind of person she wants you to be? If you have, then you are one of the very rarest people that are on earth. You know, typically, husbands don't go asking this. In fact, it doesn't even cross their minds if I'm good enough for my wife. It is very rare. But it is good to know what they need. You want to have a happier marriage? You want to have a better time? It is good to know what your wife needs, what your wife wants in marriage. And actually, if you decide to know what your wife wants, you will end up being and living a happier life. And the fact that we have already done a series on what men want, it is only good to consider and agree on what women want. It is good for us to go into it. I'll start by saying this. I don't consider myself an expert on what wives need in marriage, but I have read a lot on the area. I've read a number of things. And there is a book by Ken called Discovering the Mind of a Woman. Some of the things I'm going to say are coming from that book. I'll also note that men are usually overwhelmed by too many things, so I will keep it short to just a few things that you may need to start working on, and things will be better. My key and main thing is just to give the husbands a few keys to what can be done so that your wife may feel a sense of love from your side. Now, let us go direct into it. As I go direct into it, I will also advise you to look for a book by Holly Phillips called What Does She Want From Me Anyway? Reading is the key to becoming better. Number one, a woman needs a husband willing to assume spiritual leadership. A husband who is willing to assume spiritual leadership of the family. Now, when I talk about spiritual leadership, it does not just talk about being able to quote verses and twist them so that they can fit to what you want. No. You know, for very many years, for centuries, men have used scriptures in manipulative ways, and those manipulated ways have ended up injuring their wives as a result. Spiritual leadership is just more than quoting and memorizing Bible verses. Colossians chapter 3 verse 12. The book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 12 gives us a guide for loving. It says, put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Now, if you take this year, the next 1 year, thinking and slowly developing your knowledge on which other ways apart from quoting scripture can you be able to spiritually lead your family in, you will have attained what women need in marriage. Now, another thing about a spiritual husband, or a husband that can assume spiritual leadership, is being able to pray for your wife. How much have you been praying for her? How many times do you pray for her? Do you ever pray for your wife? Please, start praying for your wife. You cannot change her. If you want her to change, Pray for her. It's only God who can change her. So, pray for your wife. And move it from praying for your wife to praying with your wife. There is a lot of magic when a husband prays with the wife. It gives the wife a kind of protection. It gives a wife a kind of safety, knowing that he's got my back. So pray for your wife. It's not easy. It is actually, it is awkward at first. But if you start slowly, start simple with just a small prayer when you're walking out, or when you arrive home, start with a small, or when you're going to pray, tell her, yes, you've done the family devotion with the children and all, and then when you get to the room, or when you wake up in the morning, start by praying and mention her in prayer. Mention God's protection for her as you pray. Number two, apart from the spiritual leadership of a husband, a woman needs a husband who will listen to his wife. I want to admit that this does not come naturally, and it does not come easily, neither for me or any man. It does not come. It is a sacrifice. It is a conscious decision to listen to her. Very conscious decision. The Webster Dictionary defines listen this way. It says it is to make a conscious effort to hear, to attend closely. You see, when you decide to make a conscious effort to hear, or you are attending closely to it, you will stop whatever you're doing so that you can hear what she says. Are you reading in your newspaper? When she comes, she's talking to you, she will really appreciate, she will feel loved when you put away the newspaper just to listen to her. You reduce the volume of the television is that just to listen to her. You put away your phone just to listen to what she is saying. A woman needs a husband who will listen to his wife. Ken, in the book that I have mentioned earlier, says and puts it this way, and I will quote it exactly as it is. Listening to her means to stop placing little or no value on her words. Concentrate on what she's saying. Learn to hear what her feelings are saying, not only what her mouth is saying. Read between the lines. It just says, read between the lines. What is she trying to communicate? And reading between the lines is another skill that you need to develop. It's not easy, but what it pays off is much more than anything. And by the way, if your wife thinks you listen to her, whatever you say, she will do. Just because you value her enough to listen. Now, the third thing that women need is a husband who will protect his wife and make her feel secure. Protect his wife and make her feel secure. Now, protecting your wife is not just against somebody clobbering her, somebody beating her up, or physical harm. You protect her even from emotional harm. Now, you will need to protect her, number one, from yourself. Be careful how you talk back to your wife. Be careful what you say to her. Protect her with your words. Don't be the one who is putting her down, especially in public. Those little negative jokes mean a lot to a wife, a woman. It will hurt her beyond what you can imagine. You see, learn to speak positively about her. A man noticed that his wife had put a lot of salt. This is a story that he said, has put a lot of salt in the food. And the visitors were wondering. When he tasted the food, he called, honey, Please bring me this salt shaker. I need to add some little salt. Everybody on the table thought, kumbe, this is the custom. This man is the problem. He eats a lot of salt. But later he came and told his wife, hey, Bwana, today you had put a lot of salt, protecting your wife. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 18 sums it up this way. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 18 says, reckless words pierce like sword. Now the second part of the verse sums out how to protect your wife. But the tongue of the wise bring healing. Now when we are talking about protecting your wife, it's not only from yourself, but you're protecting her from your family too. Make sure that nobody mishandles your wife. You make sure they talk to her respectively. If there is anything that is the problem, if possible, let them pass through you. You will tell her humbly. But somebody, even if she is wrong, mishandling your wife, you should stand by her side. She will value you very much about that. And the last thing is that a woman needs a husband who is a full partner in marriage. A full partner in marriage. Don't leave your wife to be doing everything. When it comes to disciplining, she is the one. If the children have a problem, she is the one handling everything. Be part of it. Let the children know they are also your children. Be part of it. Be part of the caring of the children. Be part. When there are some household chores that are usually predominantly for ladies in most cultures. But there are times when your wife is overwhelmed. She will enjoy it when you decide to assist. Be a full partner in marriage. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 is a promise to us husbands. God's promise to us. It says that, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. God's strength is made perfect in weakness. So if you think you cannot do all this, then rely on God. He will help you. Now, as I finish, I want to give a word of caution to our wives, the ladies. Please, when you watch this and you say, yes, this is exactly what I need, don't run to your husband and tell him, listen to this and follow it. This is what I need. 99% it won't work. The ego of men is different. So, if you want to do that, look for a friend who will slip it to him without knowing it comes from you. That is the better option. Otherwise, may God bless you and may God make your marriage better. Thank you.